All right, what is up? What is good? Welcome to a special Friday edition of One Piece being out, which is always a surprise and a treat. It's something to do with the New Year's break. There's a week that they take off, but then this week is early, but then next week is on time. So it's kind of like I'm reading leaks. But I had the day off work anyways. I'm taking this week off, so good timing for me. Let's read it. Let's see what's going on. We ended the last chapter on a freaking crazy ass cliffhanger, a huge development into the setup on Elbaf for this arc. As I kind of listed out, there's already quite a few things going on in Elbaf, but certainly not as many as there were on, say, Egghead, or even like Dressrosa, or Wano for sure. Maybe an order of magnitude less things going on than on Wano. So we had another new element thrown into the fire. Somebody who looks like Shanks, that I said that's Shanks, but other people pointed out in comments that I read, if it was Shanks, he'd have the scar visible on his face, the scar that Blackbeard gave him. So this might actually be Shanks's brother, because Shanks comes from some sort of family associated with the Holy Knights that are the bodyguards, like the final line of defense in Marijois. So it could be that. And then the other person that I was like, oh god, I hope I'm not forgetting who this is. Turns out, seems like a totally new person. Nobody seems to know who that is. And I didn't really consider it. Yeah, the implication seems to be that because they used this Gorosei method of transit, this weird occult teleportation summoning thing with the flames and the arcane signal on the floor, signet, sorry, that it seems like whoever these people are have access to the world government's like technology or magic or whatever the hell it is. More and more, it's like, yeah, that's probably not Shanks. I think my best guess is that's Shanks' brother, and that Elbaf, in characteristic of being like, well, guess what? The Egghead arc is also the Kuma flashback arc, which like kind of makes sense. Here's another sudden flashback. Maybe we're gonna get the Shanks flashback during this arc, which would be pretty exciting. Because I'm still convinced that Shanks is running around on Elbaf himself. I think he was the silhouette having some sake at the pier, waiting for Luffy. We know he was there very recently at the very least. I don't know why he would have left if he was there to wait for Luffy. So yeah, we're gonna get maybe brother on brother climactic fight, which could be insane. I don't think that this chapter is gonna go crazy cuckoo balls to the wall right away though. Just because these guys showed up, I think it would be really weird tone and pacing to suddenly have them start like rampaging through the Island of Giants. The fact is, no matter how strong Shanks's brother is, um, how strong any of these world government forces are, the Giants are not pushovers. They are not going to just go down easily. So I think whatever they're here to do, which is probably something to do with the Library of Oharan books, they're going to try to do covertly. They're there on kind of an undercover mission to sabotage information rather than declare an outright war with Elbaf. Although I think we are headed into some sort of gigantic Ragnarok type situation, with maybe like 3 or 4 different parties fighting on different sides. But yeah, enough speculation. Let's jump into it. This chapter is titled Friends Cups. Cheers. Have a little coffee. Some good coffee. This is my Spirited Away cup. It's very cute. I got this at like a Ghibli pop-up. Okay. So yeah, the title being Friends Cups as well makes me think that this is not going to be an action-packed chapter where Shanks' brother fights Loki to the death or something. Anyways, on our cover page, we have Otama here. That's Otama, right? Yeah, I think that's Otama. Beating up the lion on his tummy man, whose name might be like Power. It's the name of a card game. Hold'em. Hold'em. Yeah. Beating the shit out of Hold'em. I'm different now. Hell yeah, you are. Okay. So, reading the giant books in the library. We got Bonnie and Chopper having a hard time. Biblo's the one who lords over this library. He's been around here for centuries, I hear. All we know is that owl up there will make any book that enters his territory grow to enormous size. Okay, so it's the owl's doing. That's awesome. I love this owl. I love his design. He's the chief librarian. It's unclear if he can speak any language besides hooting. Unclear if he's like a mink, a giant mink, devil fruit power, just a really smart owl. You know, owls are smart. And maybe that owl ate the devil fruit power that makes you turn books huge. There's a lot of, or maybe he just has control over books. Although we already did see like a book fruit during Whole Cake. I don't know. Anyways, there's our owl. Because Elbaf ain't affiliated with the world government. We don't get news coups here. You can read little newspapers the fishermen get while at sea. A growth owl that's eaten the grow fruit cause any inorganic matter to grow. Cool, okay. So that's Vegapunk's theory. I think we can take that as true, because Vegapunk is very smart. This is so fun. Like, just this idea of... Okay, follow me here. I have a little more coffee. When Robin was a kid, she was enchanted by this gigantic library in Ohara, by the works of Professor Clover, her mother, the other archaeologists. The wonderment she felt at these books is now being physically expressed with the giant books. You feel me? It's like this is the size and the magnitude of knowledge that she had always envisioned within that library, and now it's real. Like now it physically is the size she had always imagined it as a kid, perhaps. Something like that. Medical books. Got some medical books from here in Elbaf. They're always big so they can't shrink down. Okay, that makes sense. All these shots of the owl is so funny. It looks kind of ominous. I also like Vegapunk, aka Lilith, casually just flying around with the moon jet boots things. Alright, meanwhile, the kid's having a totally different adventure, playing on the giant swing. That's right, Elbaf went woke! These little brats need to be told how to play rough. They're little wimps. The strong men have created weak times, or whatever that horrible meme is. Miss Gerd, they're scaring us. Miss Gerd, hey. I got what you need. I'm kind of Miss Gerd, too. Children here are raised to be kind and well-meaning and pure. Oh, is that just a universal trait? A nice little callback to Momonosuke. Always trying to cuddle up to Nami and Robin, pissing Sanji off. I'm sad about this, though. But how can we complain about Elbaf trying to live in peace? Okay, one of the kids attacks! Luffy easily annihilates his sword, responding with a Gear 3 elephant gun! He's so excited to roughhouse with the giant kids. That's probably overdoing it there, bud. You might have just one-shotted that poor giant, like, 8-year-old. We hate violence. Oh, Colin the wild child who doesn't even go to school. Is this the kid that was waiting at the pub when the giant pirates showed up? And was asking if they were going to come drink at the pub? Perhaps, I believe. I think. That's great. What a nice little inner arc setup and payoff. That it's like, all the other kids are at school. Why wasn't the kid at the pub at school? All the other kids are kind of freaked out by the giant pirates. They don't want to be like them. Why was that kid so excited about the giant pirates? Feels like an inconsistency now that I think about it. But as soon as you realize the inconsistency, they resolve it. That he's the wild child. He's just this feral little animal that wants to be a pirate. He's so vicious. Colin causing trouble again. Really good swing, though. Ah, so Colin is her kid. The teacher's kid. Not teaching him the same lessons your school is. My dad's a human, you know. That lucky son of a gun. He used to be a pirate. He can even hold his own against Elbaf warriors. He's a younger man. He keeps sulking that he's the only one who ages, and that's why he won't marry me, so I've always been his common law wife. A younger man, that's not a clue. That could be literally anyone. Giants are all ancient. She's probably like 200. Can hold his own against Elbaf warriors. As we said, that's pretty impressive. Is it Shanks? Is this Shanks' kid? There's no real family resemblance, but man, if anybody could do it, it's the big dog Shanks. Wow, that's crazy. Ooh, lingonberries, by the way. Tasty stuff. You can get them at IKEA. You can get it on your plate with some meatballs to dip them in. Dip meatballs in the lingonberries. Whatever. They're tasty. They're kind of like cranberries. He used to be a pirate, though. Shanks is still actively a pirate. Who could it be? Marco? This kid kind of looks like Marco. Like, vaguely. He doesn't act like Marco. Marco's way more chill than this kid. Who the heck would be out here having kids with giants? Who knows? Alright, so Luffy heads to the library now. They all meet up. He's impressed with the giant books. Good, good. Even book learning is appealing when the books are freaking huge. Robin stays behind to catch up with Saul. Fine. Their feast lasts 3 days and nights. Oh, baby. Gotta go ask for permissions to put down roots. Bonnie's going with her. This whole island is an Adam tree. Yup, yup. Now, it's interesting that he says an Adam tree. I thought there was only one. And this is maybe something that's ambiguous in translation, although I trust Stephen Paul to root out the problem and figure it out exactly. So maybe there's multiple, but I'm glad that Frankie found out about this. Again, it's like they're pacing this really well, that it's not all just like mystery, 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 mystery. It's a nice balance between like mystery, setup, payoff, mystery, setup, payoff. So it's like we knew that that was likely the case, or we were sure that that was the case, and we wanted Frankie to find out. That was kind of the mystery, that we didn't know whether or not Frankie would realize what this tree was made of and make use of it, or whatever. Oh, there are several Adam trees in the world, but this one's by far the oldest. Soak in the majesty of the jewel tree. Okay. I could have read one more panel. So then now it's like, okay, will there be a payoff to that? Will the Sunny get some sort of upgrade after this arc? It has been a while since we've had a substantial ship upgrade. But it's like we're not left in suspense of whether or not this plot line will happen. The setup is confirmed, you know. We're going forward with this being a possibility. Which I like. As I said, you know, it gets kind of overwhelming if there's too many, like, setup, mystery, 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 mystery. You gotta kind of balance things out. You gotta move some stuff along. Get some stuff to a place where you're content with it. And we'll go back first. I'm about ready to starve by now. Okay, Gerd has a request. Whoa! They're gonna dress up in the clothing of the giant warriors. You know, it's only fair Luffy and Nami were dressed up like that. Because and Chopper, because of frickin' Roto. So, everybody else should be decked out in Viking gear as well. They look frickin' awesome. God, they all look so cool. I think my favorite is Frankie. That just looks so right with the big beard and the big horns. Jinbei's pretty badass too. The big dudes, man. Let's go. I have a hobby of making human clothes. Yeah. I wonder who is the beneficiary of that hobby. I wonder who uses them in all of his sick dioramas and human experiments. Okay, so we're having a big split up. No crises yet, but this may be a long delay before the next reunion. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say how long the relatively peaceful era on Elbaf will last before, you know, the shoes start dropping. But great page here. I love Gerd. I'm so excited how cute they are. And then they go off. Up back to the village. Okay. Meanwhile. Must be if you're in this country. Oh, okay. So, wow. All right. The guards in the castle. I was totally wrong. I was like, oh, they're going to do like undercover stealth mission. They don't want to piss off the giants. They don't want to fight right away. No. Things are happening now. First off, they're guarding this castle, which is kind of interesting. No one's in this castle. That's right. There's no king currently. Loki killed his father, the previous king, King Harald. Just in case you mean to free him. So they're looking for Loki. That's very interesting. Now, Loki claims to be the sun god Nika. And we already had this moment where I was like, well, why is there only one descendant of the sun god Nika? Why is it only Luffy? I thought that back when Bonnie turned Gear 5 and had the abilities of Gear 5 Luffy and the Warrior of Liberation and blah, blah, blah. And that never really fully got explained. Like, you can parse it as, oh, she used her devil fruit to foresee a different future where she is the inheritor of the sun god Nika's powers. But at the time, I really wondered, is it that all devil fruits make you the inheritor of sun god Nika power? Or maybe just a lot of them? Or maybe anyone with Buccaneer blood? Or, you know, because it only makes sense. Like, when people have multiple kids, as long as there's multiple kids at any generation past someone's life, there's going to be multiple descendants and stuff. So it could be that Loki going around calling himself the sun god and causing this big stink has reached the ears of the world government. And now they're like, well, the real problem isn't like one magical devil fruit that makes you into the descendant of the sun god Nika. It's just people claiming that and reuniting this old religion and reigniting hope and faith in Nika. That's what we got to snuff out. That's the problem. I think they're here to kill Loki. I don't know why they would like ally with him. Maybe just to cause instability in Elbaf, because I'm sure they're not fans of Elbaf either. It being a non-affiliated country that has a lot of military power. But I think we're heading into kind of like a three-way battle situation here, where these dudes are not on the same side as the Giants or on the same side as Loki. Okay, so the Giant Guards, who are... It's interesting that they're guarding the castle. Why are they guarding the castle if nobody's here? I don't know. Giants just seem to like guarding stuff. And it makes sense that they're baffled because these dudes warped in. But what's interesting, though, remember when Saint Saturn warped in, they had to prepare the glyph thing that summoned him. So why would there be a glyph thing in this castle unless maybe a giant is a turncoat and working for the government, which would also explain why the government knows about Loki. So that's another thing. There's a lot of things being generated by this page that I think we should kind of keep in our minds here. Okay, so they attack the giants in a scary, scary way, seemingly crushing him to the ground. you think I asked you a question, I give you an order to answer me. Oh, man. This is scary. This is a scary power. It seems like... At first I was like, is this sort of like a gravity type power? Like the one admiral? Whoever... the purple cow? Or is this... like... just succumbing to weakness? Is this creating like a horrible weakness in the mind and body of this giant? I don't know. It seems like he's being pushed into the ground. But I don't think we're going to get any more of this scene. This is just a horrible incident that's happening behind the scenes. Maybe they won't even notice the guards are missing. For all I know, these guard shifts are like 3 or 4 years long. They just operate on different time than us, these giants. Alright. Never mind all that. Nice little stinger there to kind of hook us into another line of intrigue and terror. But now we are back to festivities. Yes, indeed, it is at last time for the giant feast. From the distant East Blue, we have come at last to this place. The land of giants at last, the kingdom of the world's strongest warriors. Oh, I love this. I love how much they're celebrating in this. Oda must feel so freaking accomplished. I've said it like 80 times now, but man, like 20 years they took to get to Elbaf, but they're here. They're here. Glad you're here. We've been awaiting you. These are the Pipsqueak humans who understood and protected our warrior pride. Way, way back in Little Garden. The ones who freed us from a prison of our own ignorance. On Aina's lobby. Who saved my life when I was in danger of vanishing into nothing in Dressrosa. Elbaf welcomes these little friends to our land. They might be small, but don't overlook them. On the sea, Straw Hat Luffy is a great pirate, one of the 4 emperors. Front and center in the Wano incident where that monster Kaido and Big Mom fell in battle. This is kind of like the level of worldliness they know about. Like, they know about those guys. They understand what it means to be an emperor of the sea. They're pretty impressed, I think. They're not totally ignorant over here in Elbaf. Just mostly ignorant. Ah, so great. I love the pub having a sign of 2 mugs clinking. To the straw hats we raise these friend cups. They're in the center with a mountain of food. I like Nami covering her ears. Indeed, that must be absurdly loud. Zoro in the back, knocking it back. Just getting extremely drunk on just a drop of giant ale. Could last him all night. Oh, this is so great. What a wonderful, wonderful little page here. I love this too, because it's kind of like we already had the sentimentality. We already had the moments that made me cry. We had, you know, that initial realization we are truly indeed in Elbaf. The reveal of the giant village. And now it's like, we've done that, let's have some frickin' fun. And now we're kind of seeing it more in the perspective of the giants, you know? Like, now we are reveling in it as a big celebration. Instead of on this sort of meta level of, oh my god, the manga is finally here at Elbaf. Okay. The giant they had captured back in Sabaody. Oh yeah, Stanson. That's right. That's right. Oh man, I forgot about this one. Even though my brain has been churning through all of my One Piece files, meticulously organized in a cabinet that has been set up since I was like 11, I still forgot about Stanson. Abducted while napping, this old friend of Hajirin's was nearly sold off at the human auction hall. He wrecked the auction for an unrelated reason, and thus he escaped slavery. Nice. Good little refresher. This is the first time it's been necessary for me to have a refresher. I remember, like, Jean Giant and stuff that goes with law. And, of course, I remember Cammy, the mermaid, whom they are trying to free. I forgot about Stanson. Hey, I'm glad you made it out. I like that the refresher is for Luffy as well. Oh, Chief Jarl is here. Oh, yeah. Hero of the Giants, oldest in the world, age 408. Look at this giant. He's like a walking hill. Okay, so he's come all the way to the village. Not to worry, the helmet saved my life. It's going. This guy's awesome. Oh, dude, this guy's so awesome. He's like a walking hill. Beard Hill Jarl, hero of the Giants, oldest in the world, age 408. Okay, so how the hell does giant society work exactly? Because the castle where King Harold was like instantiated is down here on this level. The village is on this level. But then the chief came from somewhere else, came all the way to the village, and you see him descending down. So, like, what is going on the top level? I am so curious. I really want to see what is up there in that, like, frickin' Valhalla-esque area. Who knows? It could be so cool. I'm sure we'll see it eventually. There's no way that Oda set that up and then was like, and guess what? We're not going to go there. Sorry. Guys, he's like a walking hill. That's so awesome. So yeah. Oh, he has also got a unique laugh. So you know he's a big deal. Bojaja. So it could be that, like, the Kingdom of Giants is actually, like, not like the main thing. That there's like these chieftains and stuff that live up on even the higher echelon, and it's like that's where the power and the lineage and the heroism and royalty of Elbaf is actually concentrated, and that King Harold was just like an administrator. I don't know. I'm so curious. I just really don't know. I just know that this guy is freaking awesome. And I think he was in the Big Mom flashback as well, right? I think during the Big Mom flashback, he's the one that she encounters. I think. We can go back and check. But I'm pretty sure. I don't know, man. This is crazy. This is so crazy. There's a lot going on. To be continued. Hell yeah. Now, I don't think we're getting a chapter. Definitely not this Sunday. Maybe a week from Sunday, but I think there's another break. So I think there's only 2 jumps this month in total. I'm not sure. We'll find out. But don't worry, as soon as the chapter is out, we will be talking about it. We will be having fun. It's One Piece, baby. See you later.